kids, it's almost Easter, and I have some Easter eggs for some kids I know. Yes, I do. But do you remember the story about Jesus? We used the eggs to help tell the story about it, about how he rode into the city of Jerusalem on a donkey, and everyone was so excited to see him. They were waving palm branches, and they were yelling, "Hosanna!" They were so excited to see him. But not everyone was excited. There were some mean men who were jealous of Jesus, and they didn't want people to love Jesus. So they paid a man named Judas some money to tell them how to get Jesus. And that night, before they got him, Jesus had one more meal with his disciples, his closest friends. And they had some bread, and he said, "When you eat this bread, remember my body broken for you." And he said, "When you drink from the cup, remember my blood that was shed for you," because he was going to die for us. He knew he needed to. But he was kind of scared to die because he knew it was going to hurt. So he went up to a mountain and he prayed in a garden, and he prayed and he asked God to help him. And then they arrested him, and they whipped him, and they hurt him. And while they were beating him and hurting him, a rooster crowed 3 times. Cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-doodle-doo. He had told his friend Peter that, "Peter, before the rooster crows 3 times, you're going to get scared and run away." And Peter did. Even though he loved Jesus, he was scared. Then they made a crown out of thorns, sticker bushes, and they put it on his head, and it made his head bleed. Then they nailed him to the cross. They nailed him right to the cross, and they killed him. And when he died, they said, "Is he really dead?" And they took a spear, and they stabbed him in the side, and water and blood came out. And he had died. They killed him. A man named Joseph of Arimathea, who loved Jesus a lot, took Jesus off the cross and wrapped him in a cloth. And he put Jesus' body in a tomb. And then they rolled a big stone over the tomb so that no one could steal his body. And 3 mornings later, some ladies came who loved Jesus, and they were looking for him. But there had been a big earthquake, and it had rolled the stone away. So when they looked in there, his body was gone. And they were crying. What happened? What happened to Jesus' body? How did the stone get rolled away? And you know what happened? They saw a bright light, and some angels came, and they said, "Don't look for Jesus here. He's not dead anymore. He's alive. He's risen." And the ladies were so excited. They couldn't believe it. "He's risen. He's risen." And they ran to tell everybody. And there were some men walking down a road, and they hadn't seen Jesus yet. And they were wondering, "Oh, what has happened? Jesus has died. We are so sad." But then a man came up and started walking with them, and they didn't recognize him at first. But they were talking about all the things that God has done. And then they knew it was Jesus. And they said, "Jesus, you're alive. You're alive." And Jesus says, "Yes, I'm risen. Go and tell everybody." And so they did. And that's why we know all about Jesus.